Hi everyone and welcome back. So this particular video is a subset of my previous video, which was on primitives and modifiers. So let's get started. So as we can see here, we're in the perspective viewport and we got the layer explorer turned on. So just a recap, you can turn it on from here. And then let's start creating something. Just a quick note. You don't necessarily have to go through the create panel in order to create stuff. Mostly people would just hold on control key and then just right click. Here you got all the options of creating the basics of primitives, as we can see here. So we want to create a box. So let's just select the box and then just create it like this. Okay. So just before we move forward, I want to check on one more useful bit in terms of viewport. So right now we are in the default shading mode, which we can see from here. And if I right click this, we can see we got so many different options here. So we got the face it mode, we got the bounding box mode, we got a flat color, we got the hidden line, we got a clay mode as well, which looks so cool. But the most useful one, which you're going to be using quite a bit, is the default shading and the edge faces. Okay, so what we can see here, we can see all the edges in the on top of the shaded mode. It's going to help you quite a bit when you're especially modeling complex objects. So you don't want to be wasting our time just going here, right clicking and just going through the whole thing. So Autodesk has given us some really useful hotkeys for that. So F3 is for wireframe and F4 is for edge faces. So these two keys you're going to be using quite a bit. Select our object and just put our length segments down to 1, here to 1 as well. Let's say I want to drop this down to 1 as well. Let's say we got quite a basic box here that we want to modify. How can we go about doing it? Select it, right click it, convert to editable poly. That's the quickest way to do it, and that's gonna give you a whole set of different tools that you can use to modify these objects. So as soon as we do that, we can see here we've lost our standard box settings like the length and height and all that, but we are now being given this option here, which is the edit poly. And edit poly and 3ds Max, it's like a match made in heaven sort of thing. The first thing that we see is we can see the selection modes. We can see vertex, edge, border, polygon, and then element. The hotkeys that are associated with them is 1 for vertex, 2 for edge, 3 for border, 4 for polygon, 5 for element. The most ones you're going to be using is the number 1, which is the vertex mode, number 2, the edge, and number 4, which is polygon mode. While we're in the vertex mode, we can see the vertex are now highlighted. We can actually select those and we can move them around like so. Super helpful. So you can literally create some really complex structures like so, and especially when it comes to architectural structures. Let me just go back to the default stage. Again, edge mode is self-explanatory. You'll be able to select the edges like so, and you can actually move around the edges instead of vertices. Don't worry about border mode. Polygon mode is, again, select the polygons and then you can move them around like so. Just to recap, 1 is for vertex, 2 for edges, and 4 is for polygon. And at any moment, you can exit the sub-object levels by just tapping the same key again. For example, if I'm in polygon mode, if I press the polygon mode key again, which is number 4, I'm going to go out sub-object level. Don't worry about any of the other ones for the time being. We'll get into the details for those in a bit. But yeah, right now, let's say if we want to extrude an object or a face from here, how can we do that? We can actually hold down shift and we can drag like so. And then we got all of our transformation tools as well. Going to scale and then move tool, drag. Okay, hold down shift, scale down like so, and then move tool. We can now hold down shift, move in, and let go. Voila. Back in the day, we were not able to do that. We spent only like, 2 or 3 seconds building this. Back in the day, if you wanted to create something like that, you had to select the face from here and select the face from here as well. Scale it down like so. And then you had to press the bridge key here to make the bridge between the two faces. So again, that was the old way of doing it. Newer ways of doing it is much more quicker. But again, you need to know exactly how you can actually accomplish the same result by different methods. What we used here was the edit poly section. We used the bridge tool. Again, we got so many different options here. Feel free to search through them. Moving a bit forward, what you can do is actually you can hold down shift and then drag and then let go. And this it's going to give you some options, some really interesting options like copy, instance, and reference. The ones that you're going to be using quite a bit, copy and instance. So here you can select instance and then you can actually tell it how many times you want this copy to be made. So what that's going to do is press OK. It's going to create different copies for us. And I want you to look at the boldness of the edit poly. So you see here, so if I had a copy here, if I make a copy here, you see editable poly text is not bold. Whereas if I select this is bold. So that means this particular object is being instanced to be used for other objects as well. What that means is that you can actually make changes to one of them and it's going to translate it to the other areas if you want to make reduce your workload basically. So for example, now what we can do is we can make some really complex stuff, like let's say just do that, do that, and then we can like this, reduce it like so. Okay, so you can quickly create some really interesting shapes for your design needs. Now, so that was the basics for copy and pasting. The other bit, which you're going to be using quite a bit if you're getting into the architecture visualization side of things, is you need to actually start tracing the plan that you got from the architect. Like for example, they might give you a floor plan, say, all right, can you please convert it into a 3D or just extrude it or something. So what you can do is you can actually go into create primitives and into the shapes. Here we got so many different shapes here that we can use. Let's just use the line. So I'm just going to quickly create a line. So the other important bit you need to know is if you draw that, if you hold on shift, it's going to stick it to like 90 degrees. I'm holding down shift and it's just doing that. Okay, so that means I'm going to be drawing straight lines across, and at any moment you can go back and close a spline like this. Okay, so now what you can do is you can go into the modifier panel and you can actually search for extrude. Okay, do the extrude and then you can actually trace stuff like that. Okay, as we can see here, it is we still got our spline here, and what we can do is we can actually go down and into sub-object level. Just a quick recap is using the same implementation as well. So 1 for vertex mode, 2 for segments, and 3 for spline. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to go into here, select the spline, and then what we can do is we can actually shift and scale down and create a copy of that element like so. Okay, let go and then move out of the sub-object level by hitting the 3 key because we were on the spline mode like so. And then if we go back to the extrude, voila. So you can do some really crazy stuff with this. For example, we can enable this mode, which is the show end result on off toggle. And then we can actually select one of the segments and we can move stuff around. For example, if the wall is not too big, we can go into the wireframe mode. We can select this wall, and then just adjust it like so. So splines, extrude, and the modifier stack, super powerful. It's going to allow you to build walls, doors, you name it. In the future tutorials, we'll go deep into the most efficient ways of modeling these things, because you guys require some time to actually absorb all of this information, and especially the newcomers. Alright, I hope you learned something new, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.